Hello everyone, Justine here with the Bible Journaling Ministries creative team, and today we're going to be working with printables from Mark 16:6, which are part of your Momentum Kit or in the store if you'd like to purchase them separate. So if you're ready, let's just go ahead and get started. Today we are going to be working with gelatos. We are going to use stencils, the printables, some textured paste. You don't need a lot, just a little bit. Of course, your gelatos. There's different types and different styles. Faber-Castell are the most popular ones. And a palette knife, any sort of type of palette knife. It could be small or medium size like I have. And then some type of X-Acto knife or just a knife because we're going to shave the gelato to mix into our textured paste. Maybe some kind of wax paper, or if you have a mat, like I have a non-stick type mat so that we can mix on it, or you can use a paper plate if you wanted to do that, if you didn't have that type of thing. And let's see what else. We have our gelatos, our knife. You might need a little bit of washi tape or masking tape. And of course your stencils, whatever stencils that you want to use. Now I'm kind of going off of the printable a little bit. I've decided on a couple pieces, so I'm figuring out the colors. I want, excuse me, earthy colors because I'm going to be making like the a scene with the gelatos. And then I want some blues because I'm going to do the sky area, the sky part. So I'm doing like the sky and then the printable with the cave or the cave or the opening of the rock, and I'm going to make it into a scene. So if you've never used gelatos before, there's several ways that you can use them. Right now I'm just showing you what you could do is just kind of scribble, and you can use either a wet paper towel, like a damp, not wet, damp, or a baby wipe of some sort. You do have to be careful, especially working in your Bible, because the pages are thin and you don't want to make them too wet. I haven't worked with gelatos in a while, so for me, I'm trying to remember how they work with the different with the water and with the dryness, and sometimes I use my finger, so that's why it's really fun, like when just playing with it and just seeing what works well for you. So as you see here that I made those lines. Now those lines are not going to come out like I want them to because I'm trying to do a sky. So you don't want to, if you're going to scribble, then that's the texture that you want, because it's going to basically stay in there. If you want to cover the whole thing, you're going to want to literally color the whole thing. So I'm using, that was kind of like a clear gelato that I was using kind of to try to blend. The other thing is you cannot, and I'll show you later in the video, you cannot write on gelato. Once gelato's down, it's down, and there's nothing except maybe textured paste that you can put on it. If you do it by accident and you want to put something on top of gelatos, you might want to use maybe a matte medium or a gesso might help it to get a little bit of texture, or that will give it feet so that you can put something on top of it, meaning will help stick, because nothing sticks to gelatos. And I think I'm pretty sure it's a wax base. I really probably should know this. Let me see. So I'm playing around here. I'm putting it on heavier because as you saw what I was doing, it was too light for what I wanted. So I'm kind of mixing colors here and just having some fun. So it is, gelatos are a rich pigment. And it says they're washable. But I don't remember exactly what they're made of. They're like a soft, buttery texture to them. And they're kind of like crayons. Like you can use them as crayons, but you can also move them a little bit, as you see here. So I'm just trying to get a background for my top, for my sky, kind of just to represent a little bit. And I've mixed a couple colors in there. And I think I like it. There's a tomb. So I'm kind of eyeing that up, and I'm going to grab a pencil and kind of outline what I want it to look like. So I'm going to make it look like it's part of a scenery. So I'm going to put some colors down. So this is my groundwork. This is part of the ground. So I'm using like the tans and the browns, gelatos, and I am literally just scribbling it on there. And it's doing exactly what I want because it's blending. I'm not gonna scrub hard. I'm just doing a light blending with the wet, either paper towel or wet wipe. So that makes the base for my ground work. And now we're gonna work on the mountain part, or the rocks that I wanted to do. I'm using textured paste, and it comes in different sizes. If you've never used it before, you can just purchase a really small one. They have small ones available. I'm sure Amazon has. I'm gonna divide this up in a few different sections because I'm gonna use 3 different colors. So I'm thinking I want to kind of match the printable. It's kind of got that grayish, not grayish, greenish, brownish army color. So you take a X-Acto knife or some type of a sharp knife and you kind of shave off the edges, the tip of the gelato. And we're just going to mash it up a little. And we're going to mix it into the textured paste. Now this is the fun part, to watch it, kind of blend together. So the gelato will actually soften up because it's water-based, or water soluble. So it's definitely gonna just take a little time to work in there, but it's really cool to see the colors. And mix it in well, and then when you, if you feel like you need more to make it a little bit darker, just do a little bit at a time so that you can get used to the color that you want. It's fun. If you're a baker, you'll get it because it's kind of like icing, mixing icing. So I'm going to do a dark brown, a lighter brown, and then I'm going to do a green because I want to incorporate green in there because there's that, I don't know what color that is. It's like the bluish green that Tracy uses in this printable. And just mix it really well. Smush it and mix it. And how can you not love art, right? It's like being a kid, just having fun. I love art. I do. I love art. And if you've never tried this before, you need to try it. It's just a lot of fun. And who cares if you mess up? Who cares if it's not exactly the way you want it to? It's just the idea of having some fun and meditating on the verse while we're doing it, and just spending time in the Word. I mean, so when I'm doing my artwork, I'm thinking about the verse, and then like the scene. For this particular one, it's the scene that I'm thinking about, and the tomb, and because the verse says, and he saith unto them, be not what? Affrighted? Ye seek Jesus of Nazareth, which was crucified. He is risen. He is not here. Behold the place where they laid him. So I'm not used to... This must be the King James Version. I know Tracy likes to use that one. Yes, it is. Those fancy old words. Affrighted. Affrighted? Affrighted. That's interesting. All right, so I'm going in with the green. And it doesn't match perfectly, but it's going to look really cool, I think. Could you imagine like just being there during this time and just being part of this? Oh, wow. So, yeah, like I was saying, as I'm mixing and stuff, I would sit here and I would just, talk to God and just meditate on the word. And that just really helps me to seal it into my mind. That's the creative side of me, I guess. Oh, very important. Make sure that you're cleaning off your palette knife in between your mixing, and as soon as you're done using your stencils and your tools, you want to definitely clean them off right away. All right, so I'm going to fast forward a little bit through this part. Look how quick I am. So I have a dark brown, a lighter brown, and then the green. It's like magic. Just make sure you mix them well. And what we're going to do is you only need a little bit, because we're going to go ahead and we're going to use our stencils to make our background. Now, if you don't have a stencil, I'm going to kind of show you what you can do instead. But I had this really cool, like, cracked type of stencil. Use what you have. If you don't even have one, you can make one. Use your X-Acto knife and cut a piece of use like maybe cardstock, and then just cut like a little design in them, and you can mimic the stencil that I have. I mean, you wouldn't be able to use it over and over, but if this is the type of look you want to get, the cracked look. So I'm just going over it with a charcoal pen. Now, if you notice there how the charcoal pen on the regular paper works well, right? But on the gelato, you'll see it doesn't go over it. See that? I mean, I really have to press hard. So the gelato is like a wax based, and you're not doing anything on there. It's like really hard to go over that with any type of pen or pencil or anything like that. So you're going to take your palette knife and you're going to just before we do that, get a piece of masking tape or a piece of washi tape, and just make sure that you take the adhesive part, like I rub it on my skin so that it's not so sticky, because it will rip your page, especially if you have a thinner Bible. I'm working in the Illustrated Bible, which is really made for Bible journaling. So the pages are thicker than a normal journaling Bible, but you do have to be careful still, because it will rip your page. So you just want to make it so it's less tacky, whether you're using masking tape or washi tape. And then and I'm doing different areas I'm going to do some dark brown. Then I'm going to grab some of the light brown and put it in different spaces of the stencil. If they mix a little bit, that's fine. I want it to kind of blend together. And then even adding just a tiny bit of the green. And you don't want to press too hard. You want to kind of go lightly over the stencil, but you want to make sure that you're filling up the stencil. And I did the outline to make kind of like rocks or mountains or whatever. If it goes over, I'm not going to worry about it because I'm going to show you what you can do to kind of define the rocks or the mountain a little bit more. The really cool thing is, I know you've heard me say this before, you're going to go back on your journey and see each step, each year, each month, each day, how you develop in your artwork and as you're in the Word, and just the way it touches you and the way it moves you. It's really cool just to see how that happens. So I kind of gave myself a form of the rocks I wanted. I'm going to take the textured paste and I'm actually going to outline the rocks, and I'll show you that in a second. Make sure right away that you're wiping off or washing off your stencil, because you don't want that to dry on there. It'll mess up the stencil. So I'm going to make some kind of very loose rocks with my textured paste, and I'm just spreading the texture paste around on the bottom of the page. And I'm going to do that and just use up my extras. I'm going to pounce a little bit on the bottom to kind of make gravel. So using the brown and even a little bit of the dark brown and the green. So you're kind of just mixing it all together. Putting some rocks up above here. Sometimes you got to let yourself go and just kind of feel. Just feel what you're doing, if that makes any sense to you. Now I'm taking the textured paste and I'm literally just outlining the rocks with it. I'm not worried about keeping it a straight line or anything like that. I'm taking the tip of the palette knife and just adding where I want it to have the form of the rocks or whatever. I'm going to go warp speed. And just continue on with that. You can even add gray. I didn't even think of that. I'm looking at it. You can add gray if you want. But it does resemble, to me, the picture, the graphic that we were given in this kit. And then the really cool thing is I just love to add to the graphic to make it come alive just a little bit more. There we go. Sorry about that. So we're just, you'll see kind of what I've done on the bottom there. Just having fun and adding in texture to the paper. And as always, we get so much in the kit that you can do this in one day, and then you can go back into your regular Bible journal and do more of a simple type of thing, maybe using gelatos and maybe just using, maybe even looking back at some of the other videos that the others have done with the gelatos, and you can do like a whole week probably or more of just gelatos. So I'm going to try to dry this up a little bit because I want to glue down my graphic. And I don't want it wet because it's paper. So what's going to happen is if it's wet, it's going to bleed through the paper and probably mess up the image. So you want to make sure everything is dry before you go ahead and put your printables onto the page. If you're impatient like me and a lot of us crafters, you want to be able to continue on with your work and not wait for drying time. So I have some extra stencils that I'd like to use. I might use the cross. I was thinking about that. I want to put a word on there. I have some wording. I want to put rejoice on here, a nice big rejoice. And I'm going to mix a little bit more of the textured paste, and I'm going to do purple. Because I think that represents for me a little bit more of the holiness. So I just shaved off again, just shaving off some of the gelato and mixing it. It's fun. A little mix. And I didn't use too much. I just used enough for the rejoice. You can, just thinking too that you can, wait for that to dry, and then you can go ahead and do another layer of some type of texture if you want it over the rock. That's the fun thing. I mean, once you start, and I want to encourage you to maybe get a group of ladies together and try it together, because it's so much fun to sit around and do Bible journaling and be able to talk about the word, be able to pray for each other, and to come up with awesome creative ideas. We can each have our own unique styles, and it just, and we can just add to our pages from other people's ideas, which makes it fun. And that's how we learn. So I just cut my stencil. I'm not worried about it. The only thing I am worried about is the fact that it might get on the page because there's not a real big lip. So I'm going to add some washi again, making sure the stickiness is off. I can tape off the whole thing so that there's no it doesn't go over the stencil at all, but I'm not that worried about it. You don't need a lot, just a little bit, and just work it over, gently going over it. It probably would have, now that I'm thinking of it, it might have been a little easier if I taped it down, but that's okay. And while well, this is really cool now I'm thinking of it. Because the gelato has that wax base, I can literally just wipe it off, the extra off, which I will do. So you can gelato over gelatos, if that makes sense. You can do textured paste on top of gelatos. You can't use markers or paint or anything. Well, I don't know. I haven't used acrylic, I don't know, on gelatos. I'm not sure. But because it's that waxiness, I don't think it would work very well. So there's my rejoice. So like I said, because we have that waxiness, I'm going to take, you could take a baby wipe or a paper towel and just wipe that all off. Use your palette knife, and it just comes right off. Just be careful because the thicker stuff of the rock is not dry, so I have to be careful of that. But other than that, So I'm just going to clean that little bit up there. And then I'm going to start adding my printables. I believe the rock thing is dry enough that I can glue my graphics to. So I'm not using a lot of I don't know why I'm always saying so. All right, I gotta stop doing that. I don't know. I don't normally use a lot of like the cross or the hearts or those octagon, not octagon. What is that? Hexagon? Kind of like that stop sign thing. I make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So what's this? What is that? I don't know. But those shapes. But I am using it this time. I'm keeping it kind of simple. So I'm using the bigger graphics that were made for the Illustrated Faith Bible. So there's 3 different sizes. There's the Bible journaling size, which is a smaller one. The medium one is good for your interleave Bible. And then the bigger ones are really good for your Illustrated Bible. I've added some glitter because I'm all about the glitter. And I'm using these, I want to say hexagon. Are they hexagons? I'm going to look it up. I'll know for next time. So I cut them out. And actually it would be cool. I only used the one size, but now that I'm thinking of it, it would have been cool to add the 2 different sizes of them to the page. Just making some type of design. I'm not being too particular in my design. Just making it look nice. I was going to use this, but I think it's not going to fit the page. So I'm just going to use the bigger words. He is not here. He is risen. And just design them onto the page. And before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and take that charcoal pencil again. And I am going to add some outline to the shapes there. And this particular pencil is what is it called? Hold on. Stabilo pencil. I just started using these recently, and they're a lot of fun. So you can use them dry and just use your finger to kind of smudge it, or you can activate it by using water. And it really is a really cool way to outline your paintings or your drawings or your printables. I don't know. People may have been using it for a long time, but I just found it. And then I'm going to add my words, and that's it. So I hope that you've enjoyed our time together. I hope that you will give some gelato and textured paste a try and show it to us on the page, because we always love to see what you're doing. Visit and like and subscribe to the channel, and to be able to get notifications of when we're adding new stuff. So thanks again, and I will see you next time, and enjoy your time of crafting with the Lord. Bye, everyone.